Yeah, I think it was a good game for us to get back home and, have a chance to get up and down the field and play in some nice weather here in the state of Colorado and, just kind of get our roots back a little bit. Good week of practice leading into the game allowed us just to be focused and improve. Like you and I talked about this week, we did a lot of building as far as team camaraderie this week with some good conversation that I think led to in particular a really, really strong second half and a great fourth quarter. So that's probably what I would say about the game. Good game, nothing special about it, just kind of workmanlike and got the job done.
Yeah, guys, I was just watching the game. It seemed like at times you guys were dominating the game, but then you look at the scoreboard and it didn't say that. And then you guys had to grind through, like Coach said, that second half and have that big fourth quarter. Just talk about the progression of that game and kind of how it unfolded.
Yeah, I would say, we like to push transition a lot. We like to score goals fast, and I think we made a few mistakes in the middle of the field, and that's probably why they had a few of those goals where it didn't really seem like they were working as hard as us. Other than that, they're a pretty solid team. They got some good players, and their record doesn't really show it right now, but they're a pretty solid team. So.
Yeah, I agree with James. I think that's kind of been a common theme through our season is we've won all the little battles like ground balls and face-offs and turnovers sometimes, but it's been more tough for us to take the takeaway with the lead that we should have.
And I would just add to that, I think we had a chance to kind of bust the game open in the second quarter, and we shot ourselves in the foot. And, I don't think these guys really want to say that because they do have to be friends with their teammates. But, for me as the leader of the team, I think that's been a big theme of ours is when we have a chance to really kind of open things up, we kind of get in our own way. And I hope that we can kind of tighten some of that up. I think that was an improvement in the fourth quarter in particular. I don't think we really affected our own play by anything we did in the fourth quarter versus in that first, second, and third quarter. There were moments where it was just kind of boneheaded play after boneheaded play. And but that's college sports, that's kids, and that's the nature of the business. So.
Now looking ahead to this week, you've got another home game on Sunday. Just talk about some of the keys that you're going to be looking for in that game on Sunday.
Sure. I don't know if the guys have really looked ahead yet because it's not really their job to do so early in the week like it is. But for us as coaches, we know we're going to need to shoot well. Their goalie has the highest save percentage right now in the conference. They also have a player that we're going to have to kind of manage and control who was the conference player of the week last week. So I think that there's some components there that we need to just focus on. And again, I think it just really boils down to what we typically talk about, which is ourselves. If we can control and manage the things that we're capable of doing and controlling, I think we'll be in good shape. But got to shoot well this weekend and got to manage some one-on-one battles for us to have a good opportunity to walk away with a victory.
Questions?
Trey, James, how does it feel to have 2 weeks at home? You guys are always on the road. You only have 4 home games this weekend or this year. 2 of them are back-to-back. How does it feel to not have to hop back on the bus and kind of get 2 weeks of consistency?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, to be honest. We do a lot of visualization stuff and stretching, and we'll do that in the airport, on the airport floor, or right after we get off the bus after 12, 15 hours of travel. So it's nice to just wake up in your own bed and go to the field and act like it's every day.
Yeah, it's good to be back in Grand Junction, as dry and hot as it is. I love being here, and it's good to be back with the entire team and have everybody on the sideline. That's my favorite part.
And this weekend, Colorado College, it was a good game. The second quarter, they obviously got back into it, but what was kind of the process of, you guys closed it out very well, scoring, 3 goals in the very end, one of them was an open netter, but what was kind of the process of seeing the team kind of come together and close out that game as strong as you guys did?
I think our sideline this weekend was pretty impressive, pretty loud. Everybody was involved, and that helps a lot. You score 1 goal, you get some momentum going, and if everybody's fired up and you got momentum, it really helps your team out a lot and kind of discourages the other team a lot as well. I
think a lot of it comes back to practice and getting getting the job done in practice. We take a lot of pride in making sure that we're doing it right during the week so we get the result we want when game time comes.
And then I spoke to Trent after the game, and he said that offensively they were just kind of leaving you guys on islands while dodging. And you and Trent, probably arguably two of the best dodgers on the team. How did that kind of free you guys up offensively?
Yeah, our big thing when we were playing them was that we should definitely just move off ball. Coach always says that every day, move off ball, move off ball. So dodge one guy, draw a slide, and backside was just open all day. So that was super, super helpful.
And then defensively, you guys had a very tough matchup with the unders. You guys decided to just lock them off with Drew and Sergio, and I can't remember if there was one more at times, but what was that kind of like? You executed the game plan almost perfectly. You only had that one assist, and it wasn't like it didn't have a crazy game, and he kind of stopped working a little bit. And defensively, it felt like you guys just controlled whatever they were trying to get to offensively.
Yeah, I think that Micah Payton, number 44, deserves a lot of the credit for that because he played the role as number 8 in practice throughout the week, and he did a fantastic job doing that. And the short stakes, yeah, they hustled, they stayed on him, and when we take away the team's best player, it's really hard for them to be successful.
What I'll add is that Trey actually marked him during the game in those times when Drew and Sergio and Logan Smith couldn't get to that shot. And, he did a really nice job. And the reason we gave the job to Trey is because he limits his checks. He doesn't typically beat himself. And as a sophomore, to be able to put him on one of the better players you're playing against, it speaks volumes to the type of kid he can be 2 more years down the road when he gets to being a junior and a senior. So.
And defensively, it feels like this season you're really kind of breaking out of your shell. You've been kind of on the wings and close, and you've done a pretty good job. And Smith talked about you not throwing your checks. You're a very disciplined defender. How do you kind of keep that mentality while you're on the field, especially with some of those tough matchups like Anders?
I think it comes back to practice. Like we talk about how when stuff gets tough in games, you go back to your training. So just doing the right thing in practice and not throwing checks in practice and playing fundamentally, that leads me to be able to do it in games.
And you guys have CSU Pueblo this weekend, one of the teams that you traditionally kind of beat up on a little bit in the RMAC, but how do you stay focused on the one game and not look ahead?
I would just say, every year is different. We have a different team, totally different squad. They have a totally different squad. So go into it with the mentality that, it's scoreboard's going to start off 0-0, and that's how we should look at it all week long. So.
Yeah, they're college athletes. They've got guys that want to win, and anybody can win on any given day. So we got to come to work.
I would echo those statements. It's just another workman-like approach. The scoreboard's going to take care of itself if we focus on doing what we're capable of doing as a team. They do have some talent. They're definitely much improved from who they've been previously. But I think that we continue to improve as a team, and you should never not give your kudos to your own team when they're doing a good job. And I think our guys are doing pretty well right now with that. And hopefully we can just manage another game at home and manage the energy that goes into that, and just have the opportunity to just continue to improve and get better as a team, as individuals and collectively.
And over spring break, you saw 2 of the best teams in the country in Tampa and Florida Tech. What did you guys kind of learn from those 2 games, and how are you going to apply it further down the season for the rest of the season?
I would just say, our team is still pretty young. We don't have a lot of guys that have played ranked opponents like that. So, it helps us a lot just getting that on-field experience and just, kind of dealing with the pressure and the emotions that happen during those games. So I'd say that. Yeah,
and I'd add that I think those games helped us find our true identity this season and what we're truly capable of. Coaches always told us that we can play with anybody and that we play some of the best guys in practice every day, but I think that helped a lot of guys truly believe it because we were so close, and if we had just fixed a couple little things, we could have won.
The only thing I'll add is something that James and I talked a few days ago about is that whether you're playing football, basketball, lacrosse, badminton, your opponent's human. They're not robots. This is Division II athletics. If they were so great, they'd be playing somewhere else. Again, hats off to those 2 teams because they're very talented and they are 2 of the better teams in the country. But I think when we're playing our game, as we showed in various moments of that game, that we're right there with them. Like Trey said, got to tidy up some of the small details, because in those games, that's what matters the most. Those types of things don't kill you all the time, but they definitely kill you in championship level lacrosse. And those are the types of games that we were playing when we were down there against those two opponents in particular.
And you guys, I can't remember if it's next week or 2 weeks away, but Rocker's on the schedule. It's the first time you guys are playing them since 2019, I believe. What's kind of the process of peaking them as you get into that game? Is there one of the better teams in the nation?
Sure, I'll jump in and answer that. I think that, we did play them in 2020. They were 11th. We were like 16th or 18th at the time. And then everything came to a halt after that game, after we beat them. And we pretty much flipped spots with them. And I love Kevin Kelly as a coach. I love his team. They play hard. They play competitively. But I think sometimes, since he went to Syracuse and he's a part of the Good Old Boy Network, he gets a little bit more notoriety with his team and his program. And I guarantee you, if he was being asked a similar question, he would say that we don't get the notoriety that we probably deserve. And that's okay, because I think next Saturday we'll prove that we deserve to be up there with the best of them. And it's going to be a long trip. It's going to be a big game, but we still have 2 more games to get there. And I just know that we're excited to get after it this Saturday and kind of work our way through. And the last thing I'll say is, you touched on it. It's unfortunate, but when we play our schedule, every game really does matter in comparison to a lot of other sports. And it's just unfortunate that sometimes when we do start to play some of our best lacrosse towards the end of the year, it doesn't always have the same kind of, I guess you could say, with the season, an Easter basket at the end to smile at you of like a national tournament, And so a lot of that stuff's up to chance right now, but our team is continuing to improve and get better. And, we just hope that we can continue to kind of push on that and improve as a team as we get closer to that game next week.
And how do you guys, what needs to happen to kind of be one of those top teams, potentially win the RMAC, get into the playoffs, and then potentially, it's always up to chance, but get that bid into the NCAA tournament? What needs to happen?
I think the NCAAs are all up to chance. We didn't do what we needed to do, and we know that, and we can live with that. But if, like I told them, if we win our next 6 regular season games and possibly 2 more RMAC tournament games, it's going to be really hard to leave a 15-3 team at home, especially when more than likely 2 of the teams we lost to are going to be in that tournament field and could potentially be teams that we could be matched up with in that first round. I do think we need to clean up some of those minute details. One of the things on the offensive end is not turning the ball over, and that's a collective team thing, because as soon as the ball's on our stick, whether we're goalie, defender, or whatever, we are now on offense. We only had 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter, and we're really, really proud of that as a team. And we just need to keep winning faceoffs and keep making saves and winning the ground ball war. And I think if we can do those types of things, we're going to give ourselves a chance to be successful as we head down the backstretch.
Okay, question of the week.
You had all mine, so.
Favorite off-day activity, non-lacrosse related?
I like watching sports, so just watching other sports. The national championship last night was pretty interesting. So,
Mine's fly fishing right now. Yep.
Hunting in the winter is his thing also.
Hunting in the fall and winter.
Mine would probably be shooting photography for Dave Yonke and the CMU Sports Information Desk.